Good evening, friends, professional colleagues, and welcome to Go Getter Excel. Today, we will be looking at a popular Excel function that helps us to make things easy when it's needed, and that is the lookup function. Now, this is one function that is very useful in business life. For example, how do you look up telephone number from a telephone directory? You need a lookup. How do you look up words in an English dictionary? You need something to look up the word or the item that you are searching for. And so when you apply that in Excel, it makes much sense because we need lookup functions every day in our business life. And so I have some things that we are going to use as examples in our lookup function today. So first of all, I would like to tell the participants here that this is our first class in a series of Excel classes. And because we are just starting, our class for today will not stretch very long. But as we progress, we might have longer sessions. All right, so let's get down to business and let's look at our items that we are looking out for. Now we want to use this as our index. This is our directory. This is from national population um, table, a table from the national population, and this is what they have indexed for us. We have the state and the year and their population. Uh, this is the index for the 36 states of Nigeria, including the FCT, making 37. And we have the total here. And this is one of the source material we are going to be looking at. Then we have another one here, list of states of Nigeria with their capitals and current governors. Now, this is 37 in number. Of course, for the FCT, we don't have a slogan and we don't have a governor. I don't want to assume that the FCT minister is a governor, so let's play safe. We don't have a governor there. All right. So these are our two source materials. Now, the first thing to learn here is the VLOOKUP. How does the VLOOKUP work? Okay, so let's see how it works. I have a list of states I am interested in. 3 states: Abia State, Cross River State, Edo State. I think I should make it 4. Okay, let's leave it at 3. I have these 3 states I am interested in. Now, I want to bring in their capital. I want to bring in the slogan and the current governor. How do I use VLOOKUP to do this? Okay, it means we are going to look at table number 2 where we have these same headings. Now, how do we use VLOOKUP? VLOOKUP is used to find the item that is in the leftmost part of the indexed items. What do I mean? We are looking for Abia State. That is our lookup item. This is what we want to search for. Where is our indexed items? This indexed items is this table here. Now, Abia corresponds to what we're looking for, right? Now, Abia must be at the leftmost part of these index items. And so it means we are going to ignore serial number, because if we look at this whole list here, serial number is the leftmost part. But if we ignore this part, this column A, if we ignore it, then B becomes the leftmost part of these index items. Okay, now that's what VLOOKUP is telling us to do. Now let's see how we can arrive at that answer. I'll click on where I want my solution to be, and I'll click on this fx. This fx means the function. This is the symbol for function, and I will type a brief description of what I want to do. I want to do a VLOOKUP. Okay, and I'll do go. If it is there, it will tell me it's there. That's fine. VLOOKUP is there. Now, look at the description for VLOOKUP. It says here that VLOOKUP looks for a value in the leftmost column of a table and then returns a value in the same row from the column you specify. And it says here, by default, the table must be sorted in ascending order. All right, so this is VLOOKUP that we want to establish. Now we click the OK, and it's asking us, what is our lookup value? Our lookup value is Abia. I will just come here. Okay, I'll come here and click on Abia. But instead of writing Abia here, we can't be writing the values here. All we need is the cell reference. Abia is located in cell B3. So when I write B3 here, it's telling you it's equal to Abia, that this is what is in cell B3. That is fine. Now, we have our lookup value. The next thing is our lookup table. The lookup table is a set of text, numbers, or logical values in which data is derived. Table array can be referenced to a range or range name. So where is our table array where we can look for this Abia? Our table array will be in this second table, capitals and slogans. I'll come here and I will start by highlighting this state where Abia is, and I will hold my shift key. I will take it down to the, let me remove this table from here so that we see what we're doing. Fine. I'll come here, select states. I'll hold my shift key and use my left arrow button and take it down to governor. I will hold my shift. I will hold Control Shift. Then I will use the down arrow button to select everything with one click. So you see here, it's selecting the whole table, beginning from state down to governor and taking it down to the 37th row. When I am done there, I will come to column index number. Column index number. What does it mean? Okay, column is column A, column B, column C, column D. Now, capital. Capital is located in which column? So we'll come here, we'll go to the slogan. But before you go now, this says it must be a number. It must be a number. So we can come to capital here, and you see here, our indexed table was from B, C, D, and E. So B is 1, C is 2, slogan is 3, governor is 4. So I cannot just come here and just click on capital. You see, it's not bringing any answer for us here because it must be a number. It must be a number. So this is not correct. Now this must be a number. So how do we make it a number? So the leftmost part of our index is in B. So B becomes 1. C, which has capital, becomes 2. So I'll write 2 here. So you see when I put the word 2, 2 is showing here. Then we say range lookup. So that is, you are beginning to see that it's bringing the answer for us here. Uma here. Range lookup is to find the closest match. Range lookup is a logical value to find the closest match in the first column, sorted in ascending order. True. So in this case, I am going to write false to show that it is going to be an exact match, because when it is an exact match, it's supposed to be false. That is what it says here. So I will type the word false. When I type the word false, you see that the answer here is Uma here. It's correct. Now, I can decide not to use false. I can decide to say 0, and 0 is still showing me false. So 0 is false. What if I put 1 and it's showing me true? Or I put true, it's showing me true. Supposing I put 3, it's showing me true. If I put -1, it's showing me true. It's only 0 that will show me false. I want it to be at exact match. I will either put 0 or I will put false. Now, when I have done with all of these tables, then I will just click on OK, and Uma here is recorded here. Okay, now that is how we get this capital. Now I want us to see the formula. If you want us to use the formula method, let's see how we can use the formula method to bring in slogan. But first of all, let me show you how this formula is. This formula, let me use it here. If I say formula text, and I click on this and I hit enter, it tells me what formula I used in getting this VLOOKUP. Just a moment. Okay, so sorry, I got some calls that were distracting me. I don't know where you may have missed it. I now use what they call formula text. Formula text is Excel's way of showing you the text used in your formula. So this is the formula that I used in deriving this. So we are going to apply this same formula to get slogan. to get slogan, because if I were to drag this thing down here, I may not get slogan. Okay, I have the slogan here, God's own state. I drag the slogan here, I get the governor, Alex Oti. So how did we do that? So once we did that, once we do that first one here, and the lookup is Abia. This is what we are looking for. Okay. In this second one here, it is looking at this. If you look at this formula here, it is correct in a way, it is correct, but if you look at how the formula works, it is shifting. Okay, let me double click. If I come here, it is making C the leftmost. It is ignoring A and ignoring B, and it's making C the leftmost. So that's what it's telling us, and it's just using relative position. So I will want to redo this in a slightly different way. Okay, let's do this again. I'll come here, VLOOKUP, let's use the formula method. If I do that, let me remove all of these and all of these. I'll come here, VLOOKUP, open a bracket. What is that thing I'm looking for? I am looking for Abia. Abia is in B3. I'll put a comma. Okay. In what table am I looking at am I looking for my information? I'm looking at it for this capital and slogan. I will start from state. I will hold my shift key, control shift key, use my right arrow key, right arrow button. It will take me to the end of that row. I'll still hold my shift and control, take my down arrow key to take me to the end of the table. Okay, I'll put a comma, and it's asking me for column index number. Column index number, if B is 1, C is 2, D should be 3. And I'll type a 3 here, and I'll put a comma, and it's asking me the range lookup. The range lookup is exact match. So I can put false, or I can put 0. Anyone you do, when you are done, you close the bracket, hit the enter button, and it gives you God's own state. If I were to drag this to the next place, it may not work. And it's work because it is still showing, instead of looking for Abia, it is looking for Umar here. And it is taking its data from C down to F. So it's taking this data from C down to F, and there's nothing in F here. So the dragging here may not be best. So what we'll do here now, we will repeat the same process, and we'll say VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP, what are we looking for? We want to always be looking for Abia. Okay, that's what we are looking for. In what table? This is our table. You select the table starting with state and ignoring serial number, and take it down, comma. Then we look for the column index number. This is 1, 2, 3. Governor should be 4. I'll put 4, comma. Instead of false now, let me put 0 as exact match. 0 as exact match. I'll close the bracket, hit enter, and I get the answer. All right, so what if we are to drag these things down? There are two ways of dragging this down. One is to use my mouse to drag it from the edge down, and it gives me the answer. But I have a problem with this. Now, if you look at Uma here, our our table is from B2 to E39. Looking at Calabar is from B3 to E40. There is nothing in E40. So that's a problem. But surprisingly, it's working because of it is being sorted in alphabetical order. And I will tell us how to solve some of these problems. If I another way of dragging, instead of dragging the way I did, I can highlight from the first item I want to drag down to the last place where I want to drag it to. And I will just hit Control D, D for down, Control D, D for down. It means you want to paste the formulas downwards. So everything is entered here. So suffice it for now, all these are correct, but because it is correct in the sense that it has been sorted in alphabetical order. Now, assuming Abia were in number 3 and Edo was in number 1, then there will be a problem. Okay, now let's see what will happen. If I were to copy this down here and paste it here, oh, it's giving the answer, the correct answer. So, wow. Now you see, Abia is wrong because it keeps shifting. It keeps shifting. If I were to put Anambra here, Anambra might be correct. Anambra might be correct. But if I were to put Lagos, Lagos too might be correct. If I were to put okay, let me put here Anambra. If I put Abia here, Abia will be correct. So some of these things, because in this second line, if you look at what's happening here, it's not taking the whole table complete, but that portion that it is taking that makes it correct is because that portion is included in that table. I will show you how to solve that problem so that we will not have issues. All right. So what we'll do now here is we'll put a $sign here. When we put a $sign before the B, okay, then we put a $sign before this B here. In a future class, I will tell you why we are putting this $sign. Put the $sign here again. Now, this $sign is to lock the cells so that they don't shift. You put a $sign here again. Then you put a $sign here to lock it. That's fine. Now, if I move, it will not be correct. See, everything keeps giving me Uma here. For me to get it correctly, I will need to change this 2 here to 3 because it is at column 3. Now it's going to be correct. For me to make this one correct here, I need to change this to column 4. Now this is correct. Now, if I were to drag, everything will be correct. And if you look at it here, it is still taken from B2 to E39, B2 to E39, B2 to E39. everything is the table or the index table is not shifting. As at this is in a slight difference in what we did before, where the table keeps shifting. And when we tested it with Abia and we put Abia down here, it didn't work because the table had shifted from where Abia would have been searched. So when we put our dollar sign before either the row or the column, we help to lock our index together. Now we've looked at how we put these in order using the VLOOKUP. Let's look at the first table. How can we get this index table populated? All right. Now we'll be looking at the VLOOKUP again. Let's start. VLOOKUP, you open a bracket. What are we looking for? We are looking for Abia. It's in B8. I will come to the beginning. In the beginning of the row, in the beginning of the formula here, I'll put a dollar sign. Why am I putting the dollar sign before B? To lock the row, so that, no, to lock the column, so that as I move from 2016 to 2017, the column B should also remain. It should not shift. If I move from 2017 to 2018, what I'll still be looking at is column B. So that's the reason why I'm locking the column. But I'm not locking the row, because if I go from Abia to Cross River, I want the thing to move from B8 to B9. If I want to go from Cross River to Edo, I want it to move from B9 to B10. So I will not lock the row. So that's one, comma. My table array is in this population. I want to lock this table. I'll go here, highlight everything. Now, I am going to put a comma. I'll come back and lock all of these. B2, I'll lock the B. I will also lock the 2. I don't want it to shift either row or column. I'll go here, I'll lock this, and I'll lock this. Now, by the way, when you see a colon in Excel, it means toe. That's a range. So B2 column F40 means from cell B2 down to cell F40. Okay. Now, my column index number, I want it to be, this is 1, so this should be 2. I'll put 2 here, comma. Then I want it to be an exact match. I can say false. Most times I usually put 0, because sometimes someone may mistakenly spell false in a way that is so funny that you get a wrong answer. Now, when I do this and I hit enter, it gives me the answer I am looking for. So I can come here and format it the way I want. Make it have comma, remove the decimal. That's fine. Now, if I were to copy this formula and paste it here, I will get the same thing like the previous one. This is because of this 2 here. I need to change it to 3. I will need to change it to 3. It changes. If I copy down to this formula here and up to here, I'll be getting the same thing. So I will need to change this here to 4. And I will change this to 5. Okay. Later, I will teach us how these numbers can automatically change by themselves. So you don't need to manually change them. Assuming that you were to do from 2016 down to 2024, or maybe it was from 2020 down to 2024, it will be inefficient of us to be changing the numbers at every column. So we'll need to learn how to change that automatically. But that is not our focus right now. I would now take this and do my Control D, D for down. I am pasting the formula down. And you see here, all these numbers have been populated. So let's check if Edo is correct. Let's see Edo. Sorry, let me highlight this color. Let's see if Edo is correct. Okay, we have 41, 40, 180. 41, 40, 180. Here we have 42, 44511. 42, 44511. And so it's correct. So that's how you do your VLOOKUP and you get the needed result that you want to get from your VLOOKUP. So one thing before we leave the VLOOKUP is that you are looking at the leftmost part of your index. So the index and the lookup value should be the leftmost part of your index. And that way VLOOKUP will work. So it means that if this table were to change, whereby this B, this column B is moved to column G, and every other thing are by the left of it, VLOOKUP will not work. So that's the disadvantage of VLOOKUP. What you are looking for must be at the beginning. So it means that for VLOOKUP to work and the item you are looking for is somehow by the right of it, you must alter your table and create a column whereby you bring what you are looking for to the leftmost part of your table. And that's the only way it could work. Okay, so what if you cannot modify your table? What if your table were locked in such a way that you cannot modify it? That means VLOOKUP cannot help you, because what you are looking for must be at the leftmost part. And so there is an attempt to help VLOOKUP solve its weakness. So we use something called the index and match. The index and match here, we have the same thing, but now we are going to be, I will show you how this index and match worked. Okay, all right. So let's start it all over again. Now, index and match, let's see. Index and match is always used as a pair. Most times index is not used alone. It must be used in pairs with match. And so let's learn how to use the match formula first. Now, what does the match formula achieve? What is being achieved by the match formula? Now, if you look at match, match is telling you, okay, let's use this to show what match accomplishes. Match. Okay. Now, match Match returns the relative position of an item in an array that matches a specified value in a specified order. Now that's this match. All right. So how do we use the match function? Okay. Now the lookup value in our match function, what is it? The lookup value is Abia. So I will click on Abia. It's showing me B3 and showing me Abia. The lookup array, it's the range of cell containing possible lookup values. So where can we get this? It's in table 2. I will only come to this column B where I know that Abia is, and I will highlight only this row. Take note, that is the only row I am highlighting. Okay. And what is my match type? My match type is 0. And can you now see that it is telling me the answer is going to be 2? Yes. It means that Abia is the second row, in my table. So in this table here, Abia is located in number 2. So that's why it is showing me 2. It's telling you the relative position of Abia in my lookup search. All right. So that is what the match function does. If I were to drag this thing down here, this is 9, this is 11. So let's check. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Cross River is 9, 10. This one is saying 11. So Edo here is showing 11. So which is wrong? Okay, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So there is something wrong here because in this case, I didn't fix all of this. So if I were to fix this to be I'll put a if I were to put my brackets, my $sign to lock it. So when I'll drag again, you see, it has changed, giving me the correct thing. So it shows me here that Cross River is on the 10th row. So let's count. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So Edo State is in the 13th row. So you see here that the fact that you got an answer when you did the first one doesn't mean that that answer is correct, but you need to check to show that you have gotten the right answer. So we just checked that using our match function, the match function gives you the relative position of Abia, of Cross River, of Edo State. Now, we know what the match function does. What does index do? Index gives you what you are looking for. Index gives you what you are looking for. So let's clean this match function and let's look at the index. I can come here and hit this and I'll type index and I'll choose index returns a value or reference of the cell at the intersection of a particular row and column in a given range. Let's see what index does. Okay, let me say this. Now, reference. What I'm looking for, I want something to be here. What is my reference? I'll go to this column and I'll highlight everything here. Let me take this one up. Let me bring it to the side here. Okay, so I'll come here. I'll highlight everything here. Highlight everything down here. And that's my reference. Then I'll come here. What is my row number? My row number is row 1, row 2. This is row 2. I will just put 2. I will just put 2. What is my column number? My column number is, this is 1, this is 2. This is 1, this is 2. So my column number is also 2. And it gives me my answer, which is Umar here. So you see here, the index takes what is the intersection between the row and the column. So if you are looking for anything and you want to look for the intersection between the row and the column, you use index. So you can see here that the index gives you the intersection of the row and the column. If I were to drag all of these, it matches. If I were to drag this thing down here, it doesn't match. It doesn't match. This is because this was not fixed. So you see the essence of fixing. Okay, so if I were to fix this to be B, I were to fix this, and most importantly, I fix this, and I'll fix the row and the column. Okay, if I drag again this time around, it will not be correct. I will need to come here, and here will be 3 before it will be correct, and here will be 4. The column will change to 4 before it is correct. Now, if I were to drag all of this now, it's giving me a wrong thing. It's giving me a wrong thing. So you see here, you need to be careful when you are fixing your row and your column. Now, I'm going to look at it in the formula way, because the formula way is easier to grasp what is going on. So first of all, we do the match function. We do the match function. Now, what are we looking for to match? We are looking for Abia to match. Now, I will come here. I will put a dollar sign at the front. I am matching this comma. Where am I looking at it from? I'm looking at it from, sorry. Okay, yes, I'm looking at it from here down to here, comma. Before I move, I will match it with the dollar sign. I will put another dollar sign here. put a dollar sign here, put a dollar sign here. Okay, and the match type, okay, the match type, I'm going to put 0 as my exact match, and I will hit the enter button. It's giving me 2, right? Fine. So what I will now do here, I will come to the beginning of match and I will type index. That is how we use it. Index. Open a bracket. Now, because I am going to do an index, I'll go to where I want. I want to index every of these things. This is what I am looking for. Okay, comma. Now I will go back and go and put a dollar sign to lock it so that it doesn't shift down when I move down. I'm going to lock it here again so that it doesn't shift. Now go to my comma. After the comma, it's asking me for row number. The row number I just did now for you using this match function gave me 2, right? It gave me 2. Okay, that's fine. Now, column number, if I come at the edge here and I put comma, my column number, what is my column number? I can decide to do another match function. Match, open a bracket. So now this one is going to be automatic. Match function, I'll open a bracket. Sorry, I'll open a bracket. And I'm looking for this. This is what I'm looking for. All right. Now this time around, instead of putting my 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 dollar sign before the C, I'm going to put the dollar sign before the 2. So I'm not locking C. I'm not locking C, but I'm locking row 2. Why? Because this capital is in 2. Why am I not locking C? I want to be able to slide to slogan, but it will still stay in row 2. When I slide to governor, it's going to slide and it's still going to stay at row 2. So that is my match, comma. What is my lookup array? I'll go down here and I'll take from state down to governor and I'll put a comma. Before I will move to the next place, I want to lock this so that it doesn't move, because I'm going to be sliding from the other table, but I don't want this original source table to move or change as I slide along. So I'm going to lock this here, and I'm going to lock this again, comma. Match type is exact match. I'm going to put a comma. I'm going to close the brackets. So now that's what I have done. So this first match gives me the row number. The second match gives me the column number. And I close the bracket again, hit enter, and it gives me UMA here. By the time I slide, I highlight up to slogan and governor, and I want to paste the formula. How do I paste the formula? I will hold my control and I will put arrow, control right, arrow for right. I am pasting the formula right to the right side. I want to paste the whole formula down. I will hold my control and press D, control down, and it gives me the correct answer. So you see here, the index and match works in the sense that the tables, the source tables are still intact. These are the source table. The reference to the source table are still intact. These are the source tables. They are still intact. What changes is this from B4, from B3 to B4, now it's in B5, it changes. And if you look at it here, another thing that changes here is C. This C does not change. It doesn't change. But when I move, it changes to D. Here it changes to E. And the formula is, the integrity of the formula is maintained. So you can see here that this works. That is for index and match. Now let's try another example here using the index and the match. I will try this in another simpler way by doing the match function here, and I'll link them here with the index formula. Now let's look at, let me say this is row. This is row. Let me call this one column. So that you will understand what I'm saying. Okay? Let's say match. We do the match function here. Match equal to, what are we looking for here? The lookup value is ABIA, right? Comma. What is our lookup array? We are looking at it from the table here. It is from this state, from the beginning of state down to the ending here, comma. We want it to be an exact match. We put 0 and we close the bracket, hit enter, and we have our row 2. Now, we know that these things might change, and we want to put our appropriate $sign. Now, I want this lookup value to always be looking at column B. So what will I do? I will come here. I will make column B to be locked. How do I lock column B? I'll put a $sign. That's fine. I don't want the row 8 to lock because I want it to move from Abia to Cross River. So it will move from 8 to 9, from 9 to 10. So I don't want it locked. This is our table. I want the whole of the table to be locked. I'll lock it here. I'll come to the row and also lock it. I'll go to the ending of the table. I'll lock it at the column, at the row. Now I have achieved something. Now let's look at, this is our row reference number. Look at our column reference number. Let us see. Match, okay, open a bracket. What am I looking for? I am looking for 2016. That is what I want to match. Okay, comma. Where am I going to find it? My lookup array. I'll go to this table 1 and I will look from state. This time around, I'll look at it up to, just a moment, please. Okay, so let's continue. All right, so I'm going to look at it from state, but I'm going to go from column B to column F, just the heading, comma, and I want it to be an exact match. And I'll close the bracket, hit enter, and I get 2. So that's fine. I'll come down here. Remember, in this case here, but we left the row flexible. In the case of column, we are going to lock the row and leave the column flexible. So it means that we will not lock C, we will lock it at 7, so that when I move from 2016 to 2017, it's still going to be in the same row. Even though I'm going from Abia to Cross River to Edo, is going to be looking for this same thing. But this is my table. I am going to lock this, and I'm going to also lock this. This is my source table. Source table is always locking everything, and I'll hit enter. Now, these are the two numbers I need for my index. So let's come now and do the index again. Index. So my index now, what am I looking for? The array or the table that I'm looking for. I'm looking for the whole of this here. This is the whole thing I'm looking for. This is the whole thing I'm looking for. Comma. I can as well come here and lock, because this is a table. I'll lock this here, lock this, come here. This is my source table. I'm locking everything. Okay, so this is what I am looking for. Now, after the comma, it is asking me for the row number. The row number is asking me for the row number. My row number is this 2 here, right? Comma, is asking me for the column number. My column number is this 2 here, right? Then I'll close the bracket. I'll close the bracket here, and it gives me the answer. So you see here, this is my index. Okay, let me make it, let me format it this way, and I will remove the decimal. So now this is the number I'm looking for now. If I were to drag this thing, I will be getting a spill. So this is not correct. If I drag, I need to adjust this formula, because I was referencing this too. Now I will need to do something now. In place of, I'll copy this formula here, or copy, press escape, or come down here. In place of this first index and match G8, I'll replace this formula I just did, right? Hit enter, we'll still get the same thing. Okay, I'll come down here, I'll copy this formula, I'll go back down here. In place of this index and match that I have here, I'll replace it with the exact formula I use in creating it. Hit the enter. So now, by the time I drag, they are giving me accurate answers. They're giving me accurate answers for each year. Now, by the time I drag it down, Control D, they are giving me accurate answers as needed. So you can see here that our index and match is an improved version of VLOOKUP, in the sense that with VLOOKUP, we are only looking at the leftmost part of our table. But with index and match, though it is longer, you don't need to have your lookup value to be at the leftmost part of the table. So we've learned today how to do a VLOOKUP and index and match. I don't know if we have any questions so far now, before we get to the next part of the class. So if you have any question now, this is question time. Can we hear your question so that we'll know how to proceed? Okay, I'll give us 1 minute for question, and after that, I will proceed to the next part of the class. Okay. Someone is saying I should bold and color my mouse. Okay, I'll do that. For now, I can't do it immediately because it's a setting function. But maybe in the next class, my mouse will be bold and it will have color. Thank you for that observation. So we've seen VLOOKUP and the imperfection of VLOOKUP. We see that in VLOOKUP, the value you're looking out for must be in the leftmost part of your table. Whereas the index and match, you have row number, column number, which the match function will bring. The match function will bring numbers that correspond to the row number and numbers that corresponds to the column number. And when you now use it in index, index will ask you, where is your source material? That's the first thing you're looking at. Then that particular thing you're finding in that source material, what row is it? And that's what is achieved by the match function that you derived the row number. Then it's going to ask you, okay, you have given me the row. There are many things in that row. Which column precisely do you want me to check? Okay, so you use the match function again to get that column to give you the precise column that you are looking for. So that way you can get what you are looking for. Now, because of the wide usage of the match function, the combination with it with index, match can also be used with VLOOKUP. Now, if you go back to VLOOKUP again, if we notice here that we have 2, when we come here, we had 3. When we come here, we had 4. We can use the match function to replace that automatic, to make it automatic, such that we don't need to be manually entering 2, 3, and 4. If you look at it here, we have 2, we have 3, we have 4, and we have 5. So how do we use the match function? Okay, if you look at the index function here, the lookup function is asking us for column index number. So that is what I'm going to be doing here. Let's say this is column. This is column. Let's do this again with our match function. The match, and we have, what are we looking for? We are looking for state. Okay. No, we are looking for 2016. Okay. Now, where are we getting this 2016 from? We are doing the match function again, and this is for emphasis. We are taking it from here down to this place, and we are looking at it exact match. And we close the bracket and hit enter, and we have 2. This is what we did before, but now I'm going to put the $ to lock some of these things here. I'm going to put $ to lock the 7. I don't want to lock the C, so that when I move from C to D, it will change. but I want to lock that 7 so that it doesn't go. Then this is my source table. I'm going to lock everything again. I'm going to lock this, lock the B. I'm going to lock the 2. I'll go to F again. I'll lock the F and I'll lock the 2. Now, hit enter is the same thing. Now, somebody is talking. So sorry. Who is talking? You need to mute everyone, please. Oh, sorry. The person who is talking, please. The class is ongoing. So now I will copy this match function. I'll copy this match function. I've copied it. I will go to this first answer and I will replace these 2. I'll replace these 2, just these 2, with all that match function that I copied. And I'll just replace. So it means that this whole thing here I did is what produces that this 2 you saw, which I'm using to replace the 2 I did manually. And I'll hit enter. It gives me the same answer. When I move downwards, there is no change. I move downward now, there is no change. But look at what happened. In this formula now, you will not see 3 because it has been changed dynamically. You go to this place, you will not see 4 because it has been changed dynamically. The same thing down here. So that way, you have used the you have used the lookup and the match function together to create a dynamic combination. Now, the reason why we are focusing first of all on VLOOKUP and index and match is because not everyone uses the Microsoft 365 version. Because if you have the Microsoft 365 version, you will not be using the index and the match. You will not be using the VLOOKUP. Rather, you will want to do the XLOOKUP. The XLOOKUP is much easier and simpler. Now let's look at the XLOOKUP. The XLOOKUP, I will type XLOOKUP. Now for only those that have the 2021 Excel version or the Microsoft 365, these are the only type that you can see the XLOOKUP. But if you have Excel for the web, if you are using Excel on the web, you can also use the XLOOKUP. So now XLOOKUP, look at the value I am looking for. Now if you look at it is slightly different. The lookup array, they are not going to be looking at the whole table. They are going to look this whole table. I can decide to highlight this whole table like this. When I look at this whole table, I can highlight it like this. So that's it, comma. Then it's asking you for return array. My return array will be this. I highlight the whole of this. And that's all. I close the bracket and it gives me Uma here. And I drag and it's correct. And I drag down and it's correct. So this is simpler, very simple from the VLOOKUP and the index and match. Now let's try it down here in this other table, and I will say XLOOKUP, open a bracket. What am I looking for? I am looking for Abia. I will go to the first table. Oh, so sorry. I will start this again. Equal to XLOOKUP. open a bracket. What is my lookup value? Is this, comma, lookup array is in this table. I am looking it in this table, comma, what is my return array? I want to return just 2026. And now I can decide to close the brackets, and I can decide to continue further. I can continue further and put a comma, and it's telling me if not found. Let me ignore it, comma. I can say what is the match mode? I want it to be an exact match. I put 0. I can decide to continue it, comma. What is the search mode? It is first to last. I can say 1. That's fine. So you've taken it to the end of the requirement for XLOOKUP. And I close the bracket, hit enter, and I got the answer I want. I can format it the way I want. And now I've got the answer I want. I can drag, and I can drag it down, and I got correct answers. So if you notice here, there is nothing like locking of cell, locking of row, and locking of column. With XLOOKUP, it gives you what you want with ease. But with index and match, VLOOKUP, for you to get the combination that you want and get them in the right way, you need to apply some of these techniques, such as locking it with relative or mixed referencing. So we've seen index and match, we've seen VLOOKUP, we've seen XLOOKUP. XLOOKUP has taken over what VLOOKUP and index and match is doing. And it's only those who are using the updated version, Microsoft 365, or from 2021 version upward, we are going to be getting the facilities that XLOOKUP can give. All right, now we go to combined lookup. We are going to combined lookup. What do we do here when we say combined lookup? Now, we are looking at combining these two tables. Now, if you look at this, capital and governor comes from slogan, this table. Capital, and we're not looking at slogan now, we're looking at capital and governor. Then if we come down here, 2019 is here. 2019 is here. Okay? So how do we achieve this combined lookup? Let's work. Let's start with, I can decide to use our match function. Then I do my index. Or I can decide to use my VLOOKUP, which is fine. So let's look for VLOOKUP. Let's use the VLOOKUP. You can say VLOOKUP. So this is a way of strengthening your VLOOKUP formula. Comma, what are we looking for? We are looking for Abia State. Okay? Comma, in what table are we looking for it? We are looking at table here, in this table. And Abia, and this state should be the leftmost part. Comma, what is your column index number? Your column index number is going to be taken from the match function which we learned. Match function, the match function, comma, open a bracket. What are we looking for? We are going to be looking for the capital. Okay, where do we get this capital? from here down to this place. That's fine, comma, and we want it to be an exact match. We close the bracket. We have ended that of match, and we have derived the column index number which is being asked here. Then we do a comma. What is our range lookup? Our range lookup should be an exact match. So we put false and we close the bracket, hit enter, and we have Uma here. By the time we drag this, Dr. Alex Oti, and it gives us the correct answer. And we drag here and it's telling us not available. And that's correct. If I drag down, can you see now that I'm having issues now? Calabar is correct. This is correct. Not available is correct. Now everything here is not available. It is because I didn't lock my source table and it is going down. So I will come back now and lock this. Let me lock this B. I'll have to learn how to lock this. You have to learn that. Lock this B and leave the 3. You come down here to your source table. This is your source. You lock everything in your source. You lock everything in your source. Both the row and the column. Lock it. Once again, you lock the column. Then you go to this column lookup. I want to free the column C, but I want to lock the row 2. Lock this. In the case of this one here, you locked the column and you free the row. In the case of this second one, you free the column, but you locked the row. Now, this is your source. You lock everything in your source. Lock this, and you lock this. Come here, you lock the row, you lock the column, and you hit enter. You've gotten the same thing, and you highlight down, no problem. Now, by the time you bring it down, by the time you bring this down, everything is correct. So this is correct. But now we are having issues here. Why? Because 2019 is not part of this table. So what do you need to do? You need to do a separate VLOOKUP for this. So all you now need to do is you'll say VLOOKUP, comma, what are we looking for here is Abia. Now I'm going to lock this B from the onset and I'll free its 3, comma. What is the table array? I will now go to this table. I will now go to this table. Okay. Now this is my source. I'm going to lock this. I'm going to lock it. Row, column. Lock the row again. The column. Fine. Now I am asked for column index number. I will use my match function. Open a bracket. What am I looking for? What am I looking for in my match? What am I looking for in my match? I'm looking for whatever is here, 2019, right? Now I'm going to free the column while lock the row. Locking it now, that's fine. Comma. I'll go to the table that I am looking for, and my lookup array is going to be from here down to this, comma. I'll come back here and lock this row and the column because they are my source table. I'll lock everything down here, lock again, lock again. Now it's asking me for the match type. The match type is going to be 0 because it is exact match. I'll close the bracket. I have now handled this column index number. I'll put a comma again, and it's asking me for range lookup. I'm going to put false, or I'll put 0. Anyone suffice. And I'll close the bracket, hit the enter button, and it gives me what I want. Gives me what I want. Then when I drag it down, it gives me what I want. Now, the beauty of this is, if I decide that I want to take 2018, let me copy it here, come here and paste. Now, watch, I'm pasting by values. By the time I paste this, these whole numbers are going to change. Exactly, they have changed. So it is because what I am looking for is this cell and not the number. If I change this to 2017, everything changes. If I change it back to 2019, it gives me what we had before. So that's a combination. Now, there's another kind of combination we want to do here. Now, can you see capital and state? Capital and state. How do we use the lookup table to derive capital and state? And now we are looking for slogan and governor. If we were to look for VLOOKUP, if we were to look for VLOOKUP, and we say, sorry, this is not the spelling of VLOOKUP. Okay, yes. If we are to say we are looking for this, in what table do we look for it? If we were to look at it here, this is not, this combination, there's no way we can combine these two into one cell. The only way we can use VLOOKUP in this case is to amend our table. And how do we amend the table? We can come down here and do our combination. We have to do this combination here. The only way is to amend this table and do the combination here, which is the problem with VLOOKUP. So I wouldn't want us to do that. So instead, we will use the index and match. So how do we use the index and match here? First of all, let us use the match. What are we matching? What are we matching? What are we matching? We are looking for this. We are looking for this. This is our match. This is what we are looking for. And what is the lookup array? The lookup array is going to be, if you see the way this is done, is the capital first. There is a comma before the state. Let's see if you can achieve that. Let's go to slogan, the capital first, then we do a concatenation, and you put a quotation mark, you put a comma, you put a space, quotation mark, another and you use the state. Okay, comma, exact match, 0, hit enter, and it gives me 3. That means this is number 3 here. This is number 3 here. Yes, this is number 3. drag this down here. This is number 11, this is number 14. Okay, now I can come here and put my lock here to always give me this one locked here. My C and my D are not locked because I can move to the other place. My okay, I will have to lock this. Okay, I'll have to lock this here. I have to lock this. I have to lock this again. I will also have to lock this. 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 Okay. Okay. It's fine. So what do I do now? I'll do my index. I'll come here, index, open a bracket. What am I looking for? I'm looking for this whole thing here. Now this is a source table. I'll put a comma first. This is a source table. I'm going to lock this and I will lock it here again. I'll come down here. I'll lock this and I will lock it here again. So what I have just done now, I have looked for the index. This match gives me the first the row number. Okay, comma. How do I get the column number? The column number, I will do another match. Match, open a bracket. This time around, I'm going to click on this. I'll lock this one here. Okay, where will I be seeing it? I'll be seeing it from here. Okay, formula is becoming longer. Let me break it. Let me break it down here so that you can see it. I'm going to lock this. I'm going to lock this. I'll lock this again. I'll lock this. And I'll say comma. The match type is 0, which is exact match. Close the bracket. Close the bracket. Hit enter. And that gives me a wrong, this is a wrong slogan. This is a wrong slogan. So there's something we didn't do here. Well, okay. First of all, let's take that again. Let us find a match. Let us find a match for this. Okay. What are we looking for? Lookup array is going to give us here. We start with this and quotation mark, comma, space, quotation mark, and this. Okay. Okay. Close the bracket. Sorry, something is wrong here. Let's start again. Match. This is what we are looking for. Let's lock the B and leave the 9, comma. How do we get this combination? We go to slogan. This first and quotation mark, comma, space, quotation mark, and this. Close the bracket. Why is it giving me this number? Something is not right. All right, I'm going to address it later. So, but we'll come to the wildcard lookup. I'll come back to that. Let's look at wildcard lookup. Now, if I want to bring all the states that start with a K, how do I bring it up? How do I use the wildcard lookup? Just a moment. All right, in the wildcard lookup, I will say how do I bring out my wildcard? So I'm looking at how do I get all the states here. I want all the states that are having K to be here. And how do I do that? Let me look at the lookup. Let me look at the lookup function. What is my lookup value? My lookup value, I can use quotation mark, K, K, and I'll put a hash sign and I'll close it with a quotation mark. So that shows you that the starting point is K, whereas any character can be after K. My lookup vector can come to states, comma. I can close the bracket at this point and hit enter. This giving me a wrong thing. What is happening? Okay, let me use the X lookup. Let me use the X lookup. My lookup value should be K. And I'll put quotation mark. Then my lookup array should be this, comma. My return array, let me still use the same thing, comma. If not found, comma. Now, this is where it gets interesting. My match mode. I don't want it to be exact match. I want it to be a wildcard character match. So I will now choose 2. And I will close the bracket. And it gives me Kaduna. And so it means that all the states with K, because it is, we are looking at it from the first occurrence. Kaduna is the state with the first, is the K, is the state that is with starting starting with K. The first state starting with K is Kaduna. If I were to look at the last occurrence, I will need to go to search mode. If I say last to first, and I say -1, and I'm going to get Kwara. Kwara is going to give me the last state, is the last state starting with K. Of course, we know how to bring our capital, how to bring the governor, and how to bring the population. But what I'm interested in here is to show you how to use your wildcard lookup. Now, if you want a state ending with 0, how do you do that? I can come here and say XLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, open a bracket. My lookup value will be quotation mark. I'll put a star and I'll put O, showing me that anything can be in the beginning, but the ending must be O. Okay, comma, lookup array. This time around, let me take it from here. Then return array is still the same here, comma, if not found, we are not interested in that. Match mode, I want it to be a wildcard match, character match. Now choose 2, comma, I want it to be first to last. I'll put 1. I'll close the bracket, hit enter, and Borno state is the first state that ends with O. If I were to put a minus sign in my search mode and I hit enter, Sokoto state is the last state having O. All right, this is another one here. State in which capital contains O. Okay, state in which whose capital contains O. So what I will do here, I want to use the wildcard character and I want to do a last search from last to first. So I can come here, I can say XLOOKUP, say XLOOKUP. My lookup value is going to be the capital. Oh, sorry, no. XLOOKUP, open the bracket, contains O. So what I will do here is I'll open a bracket, put a hash sign, I'll put O, put another hash sign. So that means O can be either at the beginning or at the end or at the middle. Then I will close the bracket here, comma. Then I will be asked to look for the array. The lookup array is going to be here, C, comma. Okay, no. The lookup array is going to be C here, and B. I've mixed it up a bit, sorry. The state whose capital contains O. So I'm going to be doing it in state here. XLOOKUP. Then I'll be looking at the state in which the capital is O. So I will come here. I will put my hash sign. I'll put O. I'll put the hash sign, quotation mark. All right. Lookup array. I'll go here. This is where I'm looking for, comma. Return array. I'm going to return state, comma, then if not found, comma, match mode, I'll put 2, which is my wildcard, comma, let's do first search last first to last. Let me put 1. Now close the bracket, hit enter. Adamawa is the state. Let's look at Adamawa. Yola. Yola is containing 0 and containing O. This is the first capital that contains O, and this is the state that has the capital containing O. If I decided that I want to change this to -1, which is last to first, and I hit enter, I have Taraba State. Taraba State is the last state, and you see that there is an O, Jalingo. So no other states after Taraba State has capital as O. Now that's how we use our wildcard lookup. In our next class, first of all, I'm going to fix this combination, this combined lookup. Then we'll do more of this wildcard, and we'll combine it with our knowledge for index and match and VLOOKUP, so that we can have a dynamic array of combinations such that our work will be automated. If you have any question on what we have learned today, the VLOOKUP, index and match, XLOOKUP, wildcard, please let me know by sending me a message either on email or on WhatsApp with these numbers showing here on the screen. Later today, the recording of this video will be sent to you also with this Excel worksheet, so that you can play with it and see how we achieved some of these things. So right now I'm going to save this so that we can get it just the way we have worked it down. So thank you so much. I want to use the next 1 minute or so to attend to questions. Someone says, when do you use VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP? We use VLOOKUP when we are interested in looking for the leftmost part of our data, and most especially when you don't have the updated Excel version, that is, you don't have Microsoft 365 or you don't have Excel 2021, you may want to rely on VLOOKUP, especially if your data is at the leftmost part. In fact, if you want to even do this combination and you want to use a VLOOKUP, let me even look at it again. This combination here, you can decide to use a VLOOKUP in this combination by coming to this place. This is what I didn't want to do before, but I'm forced to do it now. I will insert and I will say capital, capital, comma, state. Now you have created a table that you have altered the table that you have been given. Now what do? You will now do your capital and state. This is your capital. Then you put an and, then you put a quotation mark, you put a comma, put a space, put another quotation mark, and you put and, then you come to your state and you hit it, the enter button. Now you have done your combination. So by the time you carry this one down. Everything is now combined. With this, you can do your VLOOKUP and you can correct what I was trying to do now. So now we can do this by saying equal to VLOOKUP. Once again, this is updating our knowledge of VLOOKUP. You take this is your lookup value. Now I want to lock this B. I will lock the B, comma. This is your lookup table, comma. What is your array, the table array? You will now start looking at it from here down to this place. All right, comma. You come back here and lock these tables. This is your source table. You lock it. Come down here again. You lock it. You come down here. You lock and you lock. This is your source table. Now we are asking for column index number. What is the column index number? What column are you looking for? What column are you looking for? You are looking for slogan. So I will come here and I will do the match. Open a bracket. This is what I am looking for. But now I am going to lock this. Okay, comma. What am I going to find it? Come to this place again. Now, comma, I'll come back here and lock my source tables. Lock, lock, come down here again, lock, and lock, comma, my search type is exact match, that's 0. I'll close the bracket. Now I have my column index number done for me. The next thing is my range lookup. I will put false. If I put 0, I will still achieve the same thing, and I will hit enter, and that gives me the right thing, God's own state. That's fine. Now, by the time I drag down here, of course, here should be giving me error. The error is because this 2019 is not part of the table I was looking for. I will slightly adjust it here. How do I adjust it? I will come to this match. Match. The table I'm going to get my details from is where I am going to. This is the place I'm going to replace. What will I replace it with? I'll come to this table here. Sorry. Come in. I'll come to this match. This is coming. Come to this match here. This is where I'm going to replace. So let's replace everything here. I'm going to come here. I'll look from here down to this place. I'll come down here, lock, lock. I'll come down here again, lock, and lock. Comma. I'm going to use an exact match. I'll close the bracket, then I'll repeat that false. Sorry, comma, then I'll put that false that I wanted to write the first time. Close the bracket, hit enter. Sorry.
The spelling
Right, so
of
let me just do it. Let me do it on its own instead of copying. Let me do it on its own. Equals to VLOOKUP.
the spelling of false that was wrong.
VLOOKUP. I'll come down here, comma. I'll go to, oh, I see where the problem is. The problem here is I didn't create its own here. So I'll have to come down here. I have to come down here and carry everything down here. I'll copy it and I'll come down here and paste it. Oh, sorry. I'll copy, and instead of pasting, I'll paste it as values. I'll paste it as values. I'll paste it as values. That's fine. So by the time I combine this now, I'll do it on its own. VLOOKUP, we are looking for this, comma. Where are you looking at it from? From the whole of this table, even up to here, comma. You come down here. What is the column index number? The column index number that you are searching for, you use the match function again. Match, you are looking for this, comma. Where will you get it? You'll get it from here down to here, comma. Match type, exact match, close the bracket, comma. False, close the bracket, hit the enter, and that's it. So I'll come down here and I will remove the dollar sign and the decimal. So that's it. I will come and adjust the formula again here by locking this side here and leaving the row. I will lock this source table, lock, lock, come down here again, lock, and lock. Then I'll go to this one here. Instead of locking the E, I will lock the 8, lock, that's fine. Then I'll come down to the source table and I will lock everything down here, lock and lock. Then once again, I'm going to lock the same thing here, lock, lock. That's all. I'll hit enter. So everything is now arranged. By the time I drag these things down, the right answers are popping up. So you see here, with VLOOKUP, you have changed the source table so that you want to put the combination of what you are looking for to the left side. Now, the reason why I had to do this is that many of us here may not be having the Microsoft 365 version or 2021 version. So if you have lower versions, this tweak will help you to achieve what you want to do. Then at the end, if you want to make it look as though the original table was preserved, you can come here and hide this column. And so that thing is not showing you anymore. You can come here again and hide this column. Now it looks like how it was given to you originally. But of course, you have hidden this thing because you don't want people to see that. But if you want to reveal it, you can come and unhide it. Come down here again and unhide it. So that's it. All right. So further questions, please send me a WhatsApp message or an email, and I'll be so happy to answer your question. Now, next class for next week, we are going to see more examples of combining VLOOKUP, index and match in a real life scenario. Thank you so much for this class, and please have a nice day.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Mr.
Thank
Nwaji,
you.
God bless you. Sirumaka Nwaji, Simaroke Nwaji, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Have a night, good night rest.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Adedoyin
Thank you.
speaking.
God bless you.
Thank you.